Go. Super. Okay, so just find yourself somewhere to stand, either on the mat or on your floor. Make sure you've got some space either side of you. And let's just begin to work into our necks. So taking a deep breath in, as you breathe out, you're just going to glance and look over to one shoulder. And then you're going to come back to the centre and look over to the opposite side. And then again, back to that first side and over. And back to the centre. And just swap. Lovely. Let's do a couple more. Try and make that movement feel really loose and free. Don't force it at all. Let your neck slowly open. Lovely. Final side. And then come back to the middle and imagine a helium balloon is just floating your head up towards the ceiling. Let's work into our shoulders a little bit. You're just going to float one shoulder up towards your ear and then melt it down. Imagine your shoulder blade just drawing down the back of your rib cage. Do that on the opposite side. And this is a nice time just to breathe in. And as you breathe out, just melt that shoulder down and away. And again, repeat that on that first side. Slide that shoulder up just in isolation and down. And the opposite side, in, breathing in. And breathing out. Do one more on each side. Final side. And then just really make an effort to set your shoulders down into your back pockets. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, just gently tighten your tummy towards your spine. Just working about 30–40% of your effort. Hold that gentle tension, and on your next breath out, we're just going to tilt down towards the side of the body. Just think about the seam of your trouser leg, just tracing your fingers down the seam, and then coming back up to the top, and going down and over to the opposite side. And a lovely flowing breath out will take you into that lovely side bend. Come back to the top straight away, no need to hold. Next time, seeing if you can go a little bit deeper. Just keep an eye on where your fingertips can reach. And maybe see if you can shoot past it a little bit more on the next time. And we're trying to not twist, so we're imagining we're stood between two panes of glass. You don't want to touch those panes of glass with the front of your body or the back of your body. Final one. Hopefully that's loosened us off a little bit. And come back to the centre. So we're going to do half of our forward rolls now, our roll downs, but just to bring the hands just in front of the knees. So starting off nice and tall, and begin just by rolling your chin down to your spine, and then rolling down through your rib cage. Just let your fingertips hang loosely in front of you. And then just hang like a rag doll, so hands in front of the thighs or the knees. And then slowly stack yourself back up to stand again. So just a little movement to begin with this evening. And then just simply repeat. So a roll down, rolling through the bones of the spine. Pause when you get to your knees or thereabouts. And then slowly stack back up to stand. And I really want you to think about those arms being really heavy and drawing you down into that forwards fold. Keep it going. I'm just coming to see how you're doing. Very good. Nice, well done. Super. Let's go for a couple more. Just want you to pause at the end of these ones for a couple of breaths, just so you can really feel the back of the shoulders open up, the upper back opening up. Looking good, everyone. That's great. Okay. And then maybe one more. And you're just going to hold with your hands in front of your knees. But this time, place your hands on your knees and bend your knees ever so slightly. So you're just kind of bearing the weight of your upper body through your legs. And then from here, we're going to come to our cat-cow, but our standing variation. So tuck your tummy towards your spine, send your tailbone underneath and draw your chin towards your chest. There's your cat stretch. And then into cow stretch, we arch the lower back, stick the bottom out, look forwards or upwards and open the front of the shoulders. And then back to cow stretch. So a nice big arch of the spine, round like a C shape. And then a nice big dip of the spine as we come into our cow stretch. Good, and just keep working between those two positions. You are in the comfort of your own home, so stick your bottom out as much as you can. Really get that lovely bend in the small of your spine. All looking good. Good stuff, everyone. Let's do one more on each side. And then rest somewhere in between your cat-cow stretch. So you've got a nice long neutral spine, and we're going to just come into our thread the needle now. So you take one hand and you pass it behind the space that you've created underneath your tummy, and then you thread through and look up behind you. So a bit of a balance challenge here. Then come back to the centre, and you do that on the opposite side. So it's just that idea of threading through that hole, twisting and turning to look towards the direction that your hand is reaching to, and then come back to the centre. And obviously we'll all have a slightly different ability with this, so just go with what you can. And if you notice that you're holding your breath, the chances are you'll probably tighten up a little bit. So just make sure you're breathing nice and deeply, and a lovely big breath out will just take you to the end of that twist. I think these feel really good. Good one to remember if you're stuck behind a desk all day. You can just stand up and lean on your desk and do some of these twists. Lovely. Let's do one more before we bring ourselves into a little bit of a leg challenge. So come back to the centre, but without standing up, you're just going to bring your hands out in front of you now. So you should be sitting in a little bit of a squat. So we did those cat-cows earlier with our pelvis. We want to sit halfway between those two pelvic tilts. So you've got a nice long spine, and we're just going to hold this position. Imagine you're on a skiing holiday, you're going down the slopes. Keep holding. 10, 9, watch those knees don't drift forwards. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Slowly come up to stand, and you might feel like you need to just shake those legs out a little bit. So it's funny, isn't it, how we can be nice and still and all of a sudden our heart rate goes up. So I'm going to do 2 more of those to really get the legs nice and warm. So you might want to go a little bit deeper for your next one, or you might find that that was good level for you. So the arms come out in front and we sit back into those heels. Glance down towards your toes, make sure you can still see your toes and they haven't disappeared behind your knees. And it looks like you're all down, so I'll start to count. 10, all very nice. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, and come up to stand. Very good. Some of you were so still then, I didn't know if you were actually doing the exercise or not, or just looking at the camera. Okay, one more then. I'm going to challenge those of you that want it. You can add a little heel raise. So if you come to class often, you'll know that that looks like this. So you imagine you're in a pair of high heels, lift those heels off the mat. It does put a bit more load through the knees though, so you don't have to do that, okay? Again, we're going to hold 10, 9, that's it, Julian, if you're not already there, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, looking good, Sally, 3, 2, that's it, Tim, and 1. Great stuff. Come up to stand and shake those legs out. Very nice. Last one always catches you out. Okay, we're going to come down onto the mats now, so if you need to move your cameras, do so now. I should have tidied Rafe's bedroom up, shouldn't I, really? There's mess everywhere. Toys everywhere. Okay, come to lie on your backs. We're going to do a bit of tummy work to start. So we're going to begin in our rest position. I've got sort of 2 levels here, so just choose what level works for you. Lying on the back with the knees hip distance apart. Let's find that neutral pelvis by just gently pressing on and off the small of the spine. Imagine a sponge that rests in the small of our back. And then we're just going to push a very gentle pressure down into that sponge and hold that position. And we're going to begin in our hundreds. Now I'm going to challenge you all to go to hundreds level 3. So for that, we bring our legs into double tabletop. Now, if you find that that lifts and arches your back and you can't control it, you could pop your heels on your sofa or on a chair. And if you still can't do that, then just come to that single tabletop. So we're going to hold this position. I promised you lots of long holds this evening. So we're going to hold for 10 as we pulse the arms. So if you get into your double tabletop, single tabletop, or rest those heels on the sofa, and we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, lovely Jill, 6, 5, struggling with the dog back, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. So you can either hug your knees towards your chest or you can go the other way. Don't worry, Becky, we've got a couple more rounds, so hopefully you'll get in the next one. Okay, so we're going to do the same again. So you've got your options there. You could swap your legs over. I think everyone I could see was in a double tabletop, but if you were in a single, then swap your legs now. Otherwise, set back up again. So double tabletop. That's it, knees directly over the hips. And then begin to pulse those arms. Now, at the same time, you won't want to gently tighten your tummy towards your spine. Good, 10, 9, 8. Going again, Karina, if you're ready. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely positioning there, Emma. That looks great. Okay, and hug those knees towards you. Brilliant. Okay, so that's just given us a little bit of awareness of these tummy muscles. What we're going to do now is work a little bit on the control of the pelvis as we strengthen our tummy muscles. So think about that sponge that's in the small of your spine. See if you can keep a constant pressure on it, and we're going to come in and out of tabletop. Now I'm going to show you 2 levels. So your first level is just to slowly tap one foot down onto the mat and then bring your leg back into tabletop and bring the other one down. And the key there is slow. So as the leg lowers down, you're trying to avoid lifting your back off the mat. You want to keep a constant pressure of your spine on the mat. This is your first level. Your second level is to do long leg stretches. So it's the same principle, lowering the leg towards the mat, but by lengthening the foot away from you. So you're increasing the load on the tummy. Longer legs are always heavier. Happy to give it a go, but if you find it's too difficult to control that position of your pelvis, then come back to those little taps. You're still working really hard by tapping those feet down, providing that you're controlling the movement of your pelvis and you're doing it nice and slowly. Now you might find the tummy gets a little bit tired, so you can either stretch out hands overhead, or you can hug your knees towards your chest, whatever gives you the most relief, and then join back in again. Very good. Nice, Isabel. That's lovely, Becky. Just watch that tabletop leg when it's not moving, doesn't sort of come towards your chest. That's it. Brilliant. Keep them going. So nice stretching legs or tap downs. That's great, Sally. Tim, all I can see is the soles of your feet and they look good. Lovely, Jill. Give those thighs a squeeze when you get to the end of that stretch. Really elongate the leg if you're going for that lengthened version. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to keep you here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, take a pause, either by bringing your knees towards your chest or stretching your hands over your head and your feet along the mat. Okay, so still working the tummy. This time we're going to challenge the control around our waist in side to side movements. So we're all going to take the left leg, we're going to float into tabletop, and then we're going to stretch that leg away. So imagine that that left leg is a pencil. And what you're going to try and do is draw a circle on the wall in front of you. But we've got to keep our waist level. So we're going to take a tray of drinks and place it on our waist. And we're going to take one of those drinks and put it on our right knee. So can we keep that right knee steady and that tray of drinks on the waist steady as we do small circular motions with that left leg? So this is where you can be. If you think you want to challenge the abs a little bit more, you can bring that right leg into tabletop position and just hold it there. So the right foot could be down on the mat in your rest position or up in your tabletop position. So choose your options and then just change the direction of those circles with that leg. You will find you get a good amount of work in these thigh muscles as it holds the position of that leg. Put a drink on that left knee for me, Tim, and keep it still. Good. Okay, swap sides. So you could do your swap over with those legs now. So I think we had right leg now stretched out and then the left leg either down on the floor or lifted. So I want you to do about 6 circles in one direction, 6 circles in the opposite direction. Pause and swap sides and just repeat from side to side. So a bit of a stability challenge with this. That's nice, Sally. Nice little adjustment there. That's great. Good. Lovely, Emma. Nice. Well done, Becky. Yeah, putting your hands on the front of your pelvis can give you a little bit of feedback. Super. Very nice. Let's go for a couple more circles on each leg. Good. Anybody spilt the drink yet? Okay, can we keep you here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Super. Knees to chest or stretch out through the body. Okay, we're going to come to lie on our sides now because we've worked the tummy muscles hard. Let's give the hips a little bit of a work. So come to lie on your side. You can either lie flat on the mat or you can prop yourself up on your hand, whichever feels most comfortable for you. But the most important thing is we've got our feet, our hips and our sides all lined up as if we're lying against a wall. And then if you're familiar with the idea of just stacking your hips on top of one another, so you're trying to push your pelvis away from your rib cage, and that gives you a little space for that sponge that we had under the small of our back now to rest in the small of your waist. So we're going to do a little bit of a sequence to build up the load on the top of the hip here. The drink that was resting on your knee is now resting on your hip. We're going to keep the feet gently pressed together and we're going to float that knee up and into clam. Slowly lower down. So the knee lifts up towards the ceiling, but we do that without twisting at the spine. Thinking about keeping that top hip nice and stable for your drink to rest will help. For those of you that want to work a little bit more challengingly into the glutes, you can float the feet off the mat. So you're just rotating the feet away from the mat and then just carry on with that clam. So it's just the heels are lifted off the mat. Most of you are familiar with that second level if you wish. We're going to be here for a while now though, so don't feel like you have to go for this second option. The feet are either up or down. So hopefully after you've done about, maybe 6 to 8, you feel a little bit of warmth building up in the outer side of that top hip, maybe into the outer side of the thigh as well. Take a rest. And then when you're ready, you can join back in. Always good just to have little pauses and you can check in, make sure you're still all stacked up nicely. You've got a little space between the floor and the waist. And then join back in. You come and see how you're doing. Gosh, time flies when you're having fun. That's great. Well done. Yeah, lovely. That's it, Karina. Lovely as well. Becky looks good. Yeah, Emma, well done. Can't see you, Mum and Dad, but I'm sure you're doing fine. Tim, you're a master at clams now. Well done. That's it, Sally. Good work. Smiles all round. Well done, Jill. Okay, let's progress on from here. So either with the feet lifted or lowered, we're going to float the knee up into clam, but then we're going to stretch the foot away. So imagine that you've got a football in the corner of your room and you're just kicking the football, and then you're going to tap your feet back together. Keep the knees lifted, and then we kick away again. So try and keep that leg as long as you can. This is where you are if you're not got your feet down. So long leg, diagonal line, and then the feet tap down, diagonal line, and then the feet tap down. Good. We're going to go for 5 more. Join back in when you're ready if you need to take a rest. We've got 4 more. 3 more. That's it, Sally. Join us when you're ready. Good. 2 more. And then we're going to stretch and lengthen that leg away. We're going to point that toe, and then we're going to draw those circles again with that leg. We've got 6 in each direction. So 6, 5, small circles, 3, 2, 1. Change direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Lovely. Lower down. And it should feel like you need to drape that leg over the top and give it a good pat. All of these muscles on the outside of the hip get a good workout there. So well done. We're going to go straight over to the opposite side and repeat that sequence. So just flip yourself over on the mat and set back up with your clam, either with your feet down or your feet lifted. Don't worry if one side just feels a bit easier than the other. None of us are completely balanced. So again, your setup is with your feet, hips and spine in line, and you're going to push that top hip down towards the heels. So your options here or here. And when you're ready, just begin to work on that clam. So we know what we're doing now. We also know what's coming, which isn't always a good thing. So try not to hold back. Try and push as hard as you did in that first round. You know it's a good end. That's great. Lovely. Let me come and see you. Super. So just remember, you've got a cup of tea resting on that hip. So try not to roll backwards as you lift your knee up. These are quite good to practice against a wall when you're at home so that you don't roll backwards. It gives you a little bit of feedback. Well done, everyone. Looking nice. Let's go for 4 more just with the clams. Add in those leg lifts. You only need to do a few of these. If you do them with good technique, you get a good amount of muscle work. 2 more. And then 1 more. Okay, and then from here or here, we're going to lengthen the foot to the corner of the room and tap that down. We've got 8 all together. 7. And I really want you to squeeze your thigh at the end of that movement, just like we did earlier with those long legs, for those of you that did them. 5 more. Breathing out as we lengthen and in as we tap down. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. And lengthen and hold and circle that leg. 6, 5, 4, make those circles as smooth as you can. 2 and 1. Can you change the direction of those circles? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Well done. Slowly down. Drape that top leg over the bottom. Give your hip a little pat. Okay, we have a couple of minutes left. So we started with some isometric work on the tummy. We're going to finish with that, but this time lying on the front. So before we do that, let's all just come back into our shell stretch. Sit back towards the heels and rest for a moment. You can just kind of swish your hips from side to side in that position. It feels quite nice. As you push across to one side, you should feel the opening of that hip, those muscles that we've just worked to get a good little stretch. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of plank work now. So even though I said no shoulders, this does put a little bit of load in your shoulders, but this is all we're going to do this evening. So you might just want to set yourself up so you can see the camera, and then you can go into what we're doing. So we're going to work on the forearms. So you bring your hands down onto the mat and you rest yourself on your forearms. The key points are thinking about your neck, your shoulders, and your tailbone. So your neck is nice and long. We lift the back of the head away from the mat. Imagine that there's a mirror between your hands and you're just keeping your gaze in that mirror. The shoulder blades melt down to the back pockets and the tailbone tucks underneath. So you're thinking about your pubic bone, just trying to gently press it into the mat. And that is your setup. And you might find that actually just doing that pressing of your pubic bone into the mat engages your tummy enough. Otherwise, we're going to see if we can bring the back of the pelvis away from the mat, as if someone's just lifting you up through the back of your trouser waistband. The knees stay down and we really push through the forearms, and you can either do a 5-second hold or a 10-second hold. I'm going to let you count these ones because sometimes somebody else counting 10 seconds can feel like an awfully long time. And once those hips are lifted, think about the neck, keep it nice and long, shoulders down, tail tucked underneath, and you should feel that really engages the tummy muscles. So give it a go. I'll come and check in. If I can see you, I can help. Lovely. Okay, I can see Emma, that looks good. Isabel, that looks good. Becky's just running back in. Kick the dog out. Do you know what we're doing? Did you catch that? Brilliant. Okay, super. That's it, Becky, yeah. Lovely. Karina, I can see the side of your shoulder and it looks great. Lovely, Tim. Just watch that head's not hanging down, back of the neck. There you go. Super. Sally, I can see the side of you. Jill, go for it. Let me see. Beautiful. Okay, so 5 to 10-second holds. Last little push. I'm going to show you how you can make these harder, but you might find that what you're doing at the moment is enough. To make it harder, we're going to come onto the toes. So you need your toes to be turned underneath. Your setup is still the same. You're going to squeeze your thigh muscles, and that enables you to lift your knees off the mat. Still think about tail tucked underneath, shoulders down, neck nice and long, and you can hold that for maybe 1 second. You could just come up and see how it feels and then go, that's not for me, and lower down, that's fine. Or maybe build up to hold it a little while longer. Now I'm going to join you all for the last minute, okay? And I'm going to count down. Don't worry, we're not going to do a minute. But get into a position that you feel is a challenge. And when you're ready, we're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep it going. We're on Tuesday night, crew. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Come down onto the mat. We're going to go up into a Cobra Stretch. So hands either side of the shoulder. Peel your body away from the mat. Maybe keep the elbows soft, or maybe push through the elbows and just look upwards. And you should feel a nice big tug through your tummy muscles, all of the ones that we just worked in that little plank. Let's hold it a little while longer. If you need to, you can just come down, take the pressure out of your lower back and push up again. 3 deep breaths for me, everyone. Inhale. Exhale. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. And again, inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale. And as you exhale, just tuck your toes underneath and just bring your hips away from the mat. And then sit back into your heels in our shell stretch. And that just takes any pressure out of the lower back from that cobra. And we're just going to hang here again for 3 more deep breaths. Let your head hang down towards the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now you can hang out in your Cobra Stretch, your shell stretch a little while longer if you wish to, or you can join me back at your screens.